Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking about unleashing your genealogical journey, 50 easy ideas and unique ideas in 50 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So, idea number one is to attach a record hit on Family Search. This can be done either on your Family Search web account or in the mobile app. But the Family Search computer is great. It does some of the research for you and looks around to see if it can find any matches in the records for anyone in your tree. And then all you have to do is go and see if it's correct. So that's idea number one. Idea number two is to review place names on Family Search. This can currently be found under the Get Involved tab on the Family Search website. Places can be entered however anyone wishes at this time on Family Search, and you get to have a place name presented to you and select what the standard place would be. This helps the Family Search computer when it's looking for those record hints to find more for you and to help standardize the information on Family Search Family Tree. Idea number three is to call or text a relative. Sometimes we forget that family history is also work with the living. So whether your conversation relates to an ancestor, an older memory, or what's going on right now, it can all be considered family history and a great way to connect with others. Maybe you make this a regular part of your week. Maybe you call or text a relative once a week and get some input on their life and ask one question about your family. Idea number four is to journal. With family history, we always find it awesome when we find the writings of our ancestors. When they left a personal account of their lives, we gain great insight. We have the opportunity to share that with our descendants by keeping a personal history or a journal. Even writing about the mundane can be incredibly powerful to those who go on beyond us, and they can get an insight into our lives that they can't get any other way. Idea number five also comes from Family Search. There is an activities tab on Family Search that will pop up family history activities. These are really fun and I highly recommend for anyone, but especially kids and youth. There's a whole list of activities. I believe that there are 6 if you have a standard Family Search account. There are close to 20 if you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The activities are really fun. A couple of the favorites are, one is called Compare a Face. You get to upload a picture of yourself and it compares it to pictures of all of your ancestors and tells you who you look the most like and at what percentage your face is matching that of your ancestors. Where Am I From is another fun one. It'll plot where all of your ancestors are from on a map. And Famous Relatives is also another big hit. It will tell you who you are related to. It has a variety of different categories, including things like presidents and celebrities, and will tell you what your relationship is to them, which can be really fun. Idea number 6 is to upload a memory to Family Search. Most of us have memories or items sitting around our house that can be added and shared with others. It's really incredible when another relative shares something that you've never seen before and you get to experience it. You can get bonus points by doing this one with the Family Search Memories app. It makes it really easy to just take a picture directly from the app or record an audio file directly in the app, and you can then add it to whoever you want in the family tree. This can also be done the more traditional way, though, on Family Search. And if you just go over to Memories and add memory, I always love seeing what my relatives have shared about my ancestors. Number 7 is find out who you're related to using Relative Finder. Relative Finder, it was a tool produced by the BYU Family History and Technology Lab. and it looks like this. It's really cool. You just sign in with your Family Search account. It has a variety of different categories or groups you can choose from, and then you can see how you're related to various groups. The one that you can see on the screen is declaration signers. So the relatives are individuals who signed the declaration, and then it gives me their relationship and then who our common ancestor is. So this is a great thing to find out who from history you're related to. And you can also build groups on there for living people, maybe within your ward, your friend group, your neighborhood, or another group. You can invite people to join, and it will show you all your relationships to each other and through which ancestors. It can be a really amazing connection experience. Number 8 is to try out the Family Search Get Involved app. This makes indexing simple and easy in a way that just about everyone can get involved, hence the name. The app icon is the picture you see on the screen, but if you just find that in the App Store and download it, you can have the app. The app has a variety of records from around the world, and it will show you one word. It'll tell you what the computer thinks it is, and you just tell it whether it's right or not. This is usually place names or people names. One of the great things about this is it's either a yes, no, or unsure button. So even if you don't know all of the words, that's entirely fine, or can't read all of the handwriting, you just hit the unsure button and move on to the next one. It's a great, easy way to get involved. You do batches of 10, so it takes like 2 or 3 minutes and can be great if you're waiting in line or just looking for something easy to do. Okay, next up is number 9, which is reverse indexing, or another activity in the BYU Family History and Technology Record Linking Lab site. If you just Google BYU Family History and Technology Lab, the lab website will pop up. Its home screen looks like this. It has a variety of activities and tools to do on it. We've already talked about Relative Finder. The one that I mentioned specifically was called reverse indexing. This is teaching the computer how to index. It gives you one letter or one small set of letters, and you identify whether the computer has identified them correctly. A lot of people enjoy this a lot more than indexing. It's also really interesting that kids are actually really good at this, especially ones who have just learned their letters. They don't have the influence of knowing how to spell yet. And so they are much better at saying, well, yes, that looks like this letter because it's what I learned it looks like. And so it can be really great. There's also a variety of other activities on here. This is the reverse indexing. It just pops up the word and then it gives you a couple of options. You mark the ones that are right, you leave the ones that aren't. Genealogical is one of my siblings' favorites. It's like Jeopardy, but all the questions have to do with your family. It pulls all of the information from Family Search. So you can have a game, you can create as many teams as you'd like and get different points, see who knows the most about the family. This is Pedigree Pie. It maps your pedigree and color codes it by what countries you're from. You can see that I have a very high percentage of the United States, but it can be kind of fun to color code your ancestry and see where your people are from. This is Wheel of Family Fortune. This is another game that will ask questions based off your family tree. You just log in using your Family Search account, and then it will generate the questions. You get to spin. It's really fun. Idea 10 is to use the colorize photo on MyHeritage. MyHeritage also has a variety of other cool photo features. They have ones where they can make you go into famous paintings, but I really like the colorize one. You can either have a black and white photo turned to color, or you can restore the color of a photo. Photos fade over time, and so you can scan in a photo and it will update it to make it what it looked like the day it was taken, which can be really cool. 11 is the Family Search Research Wiki. This is always where I recommend people start their family history experience. It has articles on how to do family history from all over the world. Whenever you're researching in a new location, it's really great. You can just put in the country or state or county or city and pop up the article and read all about it. It gives you a history of the place and it also talks about what the records are like and what's available. So it's a version of a Wikipedia, but just for family history, and it's more curated and accurate than Wikipedias generally are. Idea number 12 is to share something about a relative or ancestor on social media. We have a lot of negative or contentious things that can go on, and so bringing joy and happiness can be a great thing to do. So just make a post and write about a relative or ancestor you really enjoy or admire or would like to share a story about. This can be a bite-sized way to share your research and what you're finding with those around you in a way that they don't even realize they're doing family history. 13, this is one of my favorites. This is making a meal from your heritage. So one day you just decide that you are going to make something from your heritage to help connect with it. This can be either a family recipe that's been passed down. My great-great-grandmother had a wonderful cinnamon roll recipe, and it's still the way that we make cinnamon rolls, but it takes a lot more time, and so we have to choose when we're going to do it. Or you can make a recipe from a country you're from. I've always wanted to make Danish pancake balls. They have a special name. I'm not going to try and say it because I don't speak Danish, but that's another way that I can connect to my heritage by eating something from the country my ancestors are from. Idea 14 is to watch a Roots Tech video. Roots Tech has a wonderful online library of videos about just about any family history topic or place or location. They have a few thousand videos and it's all entirely available for free. And so you should totally go check it out. Here is the video library. If you just Google Roots Tech, this will pop up and you can go over to watch videos, then the video library, you can search for whatever you like, or you can go through its suggested videos. Number 15 is to work on your personal history. Everyone has a story to tell, and we want to hear yours. And so writing a life or personal history can be super impactful and important to future generations and even to yourself. A lot of people say, well, I don't have a very interesting life, or I don't know where to start. To both of those, I say just start by answering one question a day. Start with, well, when were you born? Start with, who was your favorite elementary school teacher? Or when did you get married? Or what was a funny experience from your childhood? You can Google these questions and have a whole list of different ideas, and then just start answering them and work your way through all of the years of your life. And even if you think you have a boring life, I'm here to tell you you don't. That's what all of my living ancestors say. They all are like, well, I have never had anything happen to me that's interesting. And then they tell me stuff, and I'm like, well, that's interesting and fun and exciting. So start by sharing. Even if it seems mundane to you, it may be inspiring to someone else. Next idea is to tag photos on Family Search. If you go into Family Search and then into any of the memories that have a photo, you can click anywhere on the photo, like I've done on this one, and it will pop up this little highlighted box, and you can put who is in that specific photo. This is a picture of my grandfather, and so I can just go ahead and put in his name. If I know any of the other kids on this page from the school yearbook, I could also put in their names. When you do this, it allows other people to be able to find their ancestors and for other people who are not you to know who's in the photo. The page looks something like this. So this happens to be an Elmo school yearbook, but I can go ahead and tag anyone in the photo and add more information over on that right-hand side. 17 is explore your ancestors' homeland using Google Earth. Google Earth is really fun because you can go on trips and vacations without ever leaving your house. You can put it in any location in the world and then get to just walk around the location. This can give you a really impactful way to see what your ancestors' lives and worlds may have looked like. Bonus points for doing this one if you have a virtual reality headset and can literally walk around the places where your ancestors walked. If you have neighbors or friends that have this, I would highly recommend it. It can be really awesome to get to see where your ancestors lived and walked. 18 is to watch a family history TV show or movie. They're the ones that we traditionally think of, things like Who Do You Think You Are or Finding Your Roots. But you can also get a little more creative with movies like Coco. While not directly about how to do family history or someone's experience with it, it explores ideas of heritage and connecting with one's ancestors and past. So those are three ideas of ones you can watch. 19 is to find your ancestors or relatives in yearbooks. This is a yearbook page for my great grandmother in a little town called Lyman, Wyoming. And so I was able to find her on this yearbook page. It can be really cool to find people you know in the yearbooks and get to see them as teenagers and see what they were up to. You may have yearbooks sitting around your house, either your own or your parents or even your grandparents. If you don't have any, I would recommend going to Ancestry and searching their yearbook collection. They have the most extensive collection available online at this time. Idea number 20 is to design a family crest. Family crests used to be things you had to pay for and had a lot of significance to your ancestors 500 years ago. This is a crest designed for the Ostrander family. Ostrander is my mother's maiden name. And so this was one of the family crests that got passed down. But you can also just decide to design one for your family today. This is a really great idea for kids. They really like to be able to be creative. So this can be a great way to engage them in family history. You may also consider writing a mission statement for your family when you create the crest and goals or hopes or dreams or rules you have for your own family. 21 is to make a time capsule. It would be really cool to get to have things that our ancestors actually had in their own lives, letters or things that were important to them or represented a specific moment. You have the opportunity to share this with your future self and your descendants. I have a letter that I wrote myself when I was 9 years old, and I said I wasn't going to open it for 15 years. So I only have 3 more years until I get to open that letter, but I'm excited to see what 9-year-old me wanted to tell future me because I don't remember at this point. So writing letters to include in your time capsule, maybe a little explanation of what each item is and why it holds significance can be really impactful. So make your time capsules and you can bury them or just put them in a safe place in your house. 22 is to create a puzzle out of an old family photo. You can do this in a couple of ways. The first is just to print out another copy of the photo and then cut it into puzzle pieces and put it together. Or you can get one professionally printed of a family photo that you really like. This can be a great mental stimulation activity and a great teaching activity. The one that my family has, all of the pieces look like different animals, and you have to put them all together as the pieces are animal shaped. And when you put them together, it creates an old family photo. But you can also just do regular pieces. But this can be a great way to make a game or something fun out of your family history. 23 is to interview a relative. They say when someone dies, a library is lost, and this is something I find to be very true. And so asking the questions of your relatives and ancestors before they're gone can be really important. And maybe this means having someone interview you. Maybe you're the one that when you pass away, the library will be gone. Or maybe it's someone else in your life. I would recommend doing this, especially with family members, but maybe there's neighbors or family friends that also may have stories or insights into your family. A couple of tips when interviewing: figure out what you want to ask the person beforehand, but then just let the conversation go how it's supposed to go. Let it flow. If you don't make it through everything, that's okay. Be respectful of the other person's time and thoughts and feelings and experiences. Sometimes it can be helpful to interview two people, like two siblings, at the same time. One of them will say something and it'll help the other one remember something else better. And that can be really helpful. And record it. So whether that be a video or audio recording, so that you can share it with others. 24 is to use the relatives around me feature on your family search app. This one does require the app to use. If you have an Apple app, it's located on the lower right-hand corner, the three little bars, and then it's the relatives around me in the menu it pulls up. If you have an Android, it's in the upper left-hand corner with the three little bars and still called relatives around me. This can be really fun at parties or gatherings to see who in the room is related to who. You can see who is most closely related to each other, and you may discover relationships that you had no idea existed. It only works within about 25 feet, so you all do have to be within a close area, but you can see whether you're related. It'll tell you your relationship, and then you can click on any of the relationships, and it'll show you how you're. 25 is a website called Pazilla. This is just a different way to visualize your tree, and it's especially helpful if you want to do descendancy research. This is what Pazilla looks like. It again uses your family search account. This is the traditional pedigree, and so I can go and click on any of these people, but I can also sit there and filter what I want to see. Once I've chosen an ancestor, I can view all of their descendants in this view. So this is one of my great-great-great-grandmothers. So she's in the middle, and then each of her children is a line going out of her, and then their children, and so on. The different boxes indicate male and female, but like yellow and gray have different meanings. They can indicate whether those people then had more descendants, or whether they died young, or whether they married but don't have children. Can be a great, helpful way to visualize your tree and find more research opportunities. 26 is a little more of a unique one. It's holding a birthday party for an ancestor. Sometimes it can be really cool just to have a reason to have a party, or a reason to remember someone. So maybe you want to have just a small party remembering a grandparent on their specific birthday. You can talk a little bit about them. You can have a cake. You could have presents you give to each other. One of the best ways to find out when these events are is through the Family Search app. It has a calendar function and will notify you when major ancestral life events are happening. And then you could plan a birthday party for one of your ancestors and have a cake and presents and balloons. A little unorthodox, but a great way to connect. 27 is called RootsMapper, rootsmapper.com. There have been other iterations of this and some more modern, but this is the one that I like the best. It goes ahead and plots your pedigree on a map, which can be super cool to see where all of your ancestors were from and where they lived. You can choose how many generations you want it to pop up, and then it tells you percentages. So I did 10 generations for this demonstration, and over 50% of my ancestry is in the United States within 10 generations. But you can see exactly when it popped back to Europe. I can scroll in closer on any of these, and it'll show me exactly where all of these people's life events happened. I can follow specific lines, but it can be really cool to see your pedigree very visually, see where your ancestors lived at different points in their lives. Okay, 28 is find an heirloom in your house and either write or talk about it. If you have children or grandchildren that either live or have come over, I'd recommend telling them about the different heirlooms in your house. Maybe you have an heirloom scavenger hunt one day, or if it's just you or you and a spouse, maybe it's writing about it. Maybe it's putting a little note that goes with the heirloom explaining what it is and why it has importance or why it should continue to be passed down. Maybe you take a picture and you post it on Family Search. But without your knowledge of these items, they lose their significance and their importance. And so it's important to share what they are and why they're important. 29 is recreate an old family photo. You can do this in a couple of ways. You can do a photo from, say, 10 or 20 years ago, and have everyone stand in the same place and hopefully wear something similar and take a photo. Or you could recreate a photo that you were never in. Take a photo from 200 years ago of your ancestors and have different family members represent different ancestors and recreate the family photo. But can be kind of cool to see the insights into your lives. If you choose one that's you now and you from the past, it can be interesting to see how your family has changed or grown or become different. Idea number 30 is to make an about me collage. The one I have on the screen is from the Connections experiment. They allow you to make an about me meme. So this has information from the year I was born, random facts about me that can be kind of fun. So like I've taken 151 million breaths of air since I was born and eaten 20.5 tons of food. Not at all helpful information, but kind of interesting. Seeing the prices of things can be very interesting, or what the best movie was when you were born. So you can do something like this using a tool, or you can make a more traditional collage, maybe taking photos or things out of magazines, or just words or phrases that describe you or you like, and making a more traditional collage. But make something about yourself, or maybe make something about one of your ancestors. 31 is write about and share family traditions. The reason there's a gingerbread house is this is one of the most important family traditions I have in my family. We make gingerbread houses every December in preparation for Christmas and have fun decorating them and displaying them in places around our house. But what traditions do you have in your family? Writing about them, taking pictures of them, and sharing them can be really cool. Is maybe one of the family traditions you have, does it date back to one of your ancestors? Do you do something because your parents or grandparents did it that way? Has it become a multi-generational family tradition? So write about and share your family traditions. 32 is trying out the Family History Guide website. It can be a great way to get started in family history. This is the home screen. So I really like a couple of the features. It tells you how to do research in specific locations. Similar to the Family Search Research Wiki, it'll give you points to specific places you should go. But it also has activities. It has ideas of things you can do. It's broken down into different categories, such as youth or single activities or little prep time or a lot of prep time activities. So it can give lots of ideas and tips and be incredibly helpful. I would highly recommend going and checking it out. Love stories. Record how you and your spouse met, or record it about your parents or grandparents, depending on what generation you fit into. Everyone has a unique love story, and it can be fun to tell. Did you meet like my parents at a Halloween party? What was your first date? Was it going and getting ice cream or going to Lagoon? So record how you and your spouse met. If you don't have a spouse, recording about a family member can be really cool and saving that story for posterity. 34 is music. Find out what songs were popular the year you were born. You could also do this for your parents or grandparents. You have a great insight into the world in which they lived if you understand what media they like to consume. And music has been popular for a very long time. Maybe you want to learn how to play one of these songs if you are musically inclined on an instrument or sing along the words, but it can be really cool to investigate the different music throughout time. 35 is using the Connections Experiment website. This was a project that was created during 2020, during COVID. There has been an abundance of research that has demonstrated that doing family history for 21 days improves mental and emotional well-being. And so this was a project that came from a group of individuals and they put plans together. So it was ideas of things you could do. It was one activity a day for 21 days. They tended to be short or quick activities that led to a goal. At the end, there were a variety of plans. So there are ones for like, if you had a family, here's an activity you could do with the family every day. If you wanted to write your life history, here's how to do that in 21 days. But they have created a variety of other resources. Here is what their website looks like. One of my favorite is called the Idea Generator. You click Give Me an Idea, and it'll just sit there and keep giving you ideas of ways you can do family history until you've gone through enough ideas to have chosen one you want to do. So that's another great resource they have. The About Me meme that you saw earlier was created using their website, and they have a variety of other resources and activities and the studies that show why family history can be so impactful. So go check out their website. Number 36 is to do a virtual cemetery visit. You can do this using Google Earth, like what we talked about earlier, or you can use one of the more cemetery specific websites such as Find a Grave or Billions Graves. This is Find a Grave. It can be super cool. You just put in your ancestors' information and see if you get any hits. You can also go to a specific cemetery and see who is buried there, see photos of the cemetery. It allows you to do this for your own family members, which is really cool. You can also do this for famous individuals if you wish. You can contribute to this database by taking photos and uploading them so that other people can also have this wonderful experience. There's also this site, Billions Graves. It's a similar concept. You just put your ancestors' information in and search and see if you can find pictures of their head or gravestones. It also allows you to look cemetery by cemetery. And one of their cool features it allows you to volunteer by helping transcribe pictures of headstones to make more of them searchable. And you can learn a lot about your ancestors. 37 is to take the Happy Family Quiz by Bruce Feller. The URL to take that is on the screen. The slides for this presentation will be posted with the recording, and the link will be included in that if you want to go and take it. But Bruce here did a study on the impact of knowing family history and its impact on children especially, and he put together what makes a happy family, and it may not be exactly what you think. It turns out sharing experiences and talking about family history was extremely important in the children's well-being, whether that be positive or negative experiences. Simply sharing the stories, whether they were the criminals or the royalty, seemed to have a big impact. So you can go and take that survey and see how your family's doing. 38 is using the RecordSeek extension. This is a browser extension that you can download to things like Chrome or Firefox. It's a browser extension specifically for family history websites like Family Search or Ancestry, but it allows you to attach records from one website to another website and to write source citations. This can be super helpful if you don't like doing either of those things because it makes it super easy and quick. So highly recommend this browser extension. Here is another browser extension. It is called Goldie May. It's a browser extension. Again, it works on things like Chrome and Firefox, but you just have it up when you're researching. This is the main website. It has a couple of cool features. It has a research log. It can keep track of automatically what websites you go to. So when you go down one of those rabbit holes, it can be super helpful. It can also create a timeline of your ancestors' events that shows years versus where they were living, and you can see whether anything's off very quickly. See if you have a big gap or if they seem to have moved to a place that doesn't make sense with the rest of their life. There is a variety of features, and attaching hints on family search is super easy with this browser extension. So I'd highly recommend going and checking it out. There are a variety of videos on this website explaining how to use its different features. The basic part of it is free, and there is a premium service as well. Okay, idea number 40 is to create an online album. We now live in a digital world, and so taking all of those photos from around your house and putting together a virtual way to share them can be really cool. It can be a great way to share with younger generations and preserving them for posterity. You can use an official website for this, that this is what it's designed for, or you can do it in a different way using something like Google Photos that's meant for photos now, but instead putting all of your old ones in there and sharing the Google Photos with the people you love and the people who the photos have something to do with can be super cool. You can tag and sort and filter them when they're in this online format. So highly recommend doing this. 41 is playing the game Don't Eat Pete. This is a very funny, popular game. It's a little old now, but you can put a family history twist on it. This specific one was a picture I found online that was Don't Eat Uncle Pete. And so you can throw a different word in there, but you can just make the cards the same as you would the Don't Eat Pete ones, and then play the game, but do it with your family members rather than specific characteristics or other individuals. Tree Seek. This is a way to create charts for your family. It has a variety of different pedigree charts and views and different ways to look at things. It also allows you to print off like fancy charts to hang up in your house, or just have simple ones that you can put on your computer and a different way to view things. So you can go check out Tree Seek. 43 is another one of those little more unorthodox ideas, but it's creating a family tree for a pet, favorite cat or dog or horse or whatever, or maybe even a goldfish, whatever pets you have. Maybe you happen to know the names of the ancestors of your specific pet, like the one on the screen, but maybe you don't. And so you're going to make one that looks a little more like this. But it can be really fun to create a pedigree for all members of your family, including your pets. Idea 44 takes a little more time. It's snapshot of today. You're going to take photos of your family over the next 24 hours to represent what a day in the life really looks like. Eating breakfast, playing video games, going on the walk, getting the mail, whatever it is that your family does in a day, you take a picture of everything you do, put it together to represent what a day in your life really looks like. It can be a great way to record what your life looks like now and be able to share it with future generations. Idea 45 is to make a family cookbook. This can be done in a couple of different ways. You can have a written one or a digital one, but we all have those family recipes that all seem to be floating around with different family members, or in all of those note cards that are just kind of thrown into the cupboard. And so compiling them all into one central place and being able to share this cookbook of family recipes with your family members, and then being able to put them into a usable format for you. There might be a recipe that you haven't made in 45 years because your Aunt Linda was the only one that had that recipe, but now she's willing to share it with you. And so you can compile all of the family recipes all into that one specific place. And that can be your family's recipes and a representation of things your ancestors and your living relatives make and enjoy. 46 is a little more time consuming, but learning a new language. This can be helpful in a couple of ways. The first is the most obvious. If you happen to speak the language your ancestors spoke, you're going to be able to read their records with a lot more ease than sitting there going, well, I don't know any of the words on this entire page because it is not in a language I speak. But second, it can help you connect to them, figuring out the ways they would have said things and the different words they had. If you can read their documents, you gain deeper meaning. If you ever find letters or journals and you can actually see the way they express themselves, that can be really impactful. Also, if you ever want to take a visit to their homeland or place of origin, speaking the language of the country can be really helpful. 47 is playing 20 questions, but family history style. I hope you've all played 20 questions before, but someone thinks of a specific person, place, or thing, and then everyone else in the group has 20 questions to figure out what it is. If you find 20 questions doesn't seem to be enough questions, you may need to go up to 25 or 30 questions, but have the person, place, or thing be somehow family history related. Maybe it's their person happens to be your great aunt Ida, or the place happens to be a specific city your family's from. So play 20 questions. This works great in groups or with kids and can be a great teaching tool without them even realizing it. 48 is planning a trip to your homeland, figure out where your ancestors are from, and then maybe go walk where they walked, stay where they lived, try and experience their lives and what they would have seen and the culture in which they would have lived. Even if you don't take the trip, I would recommend planning one. Where is it that you would like to go? What is it you would like to see? Where are the important places in their life? Maybe it's a trip you take and maybe it's something you just plan, but it can be super helpful to see how they lived their lives and you can make a vacation out of it. So there's another nice upside. 49 is live for a day the way your ancestors would have. So this probably includes things like no electricity or running water or a working stove. So you're going to need a fire, but living the way they lived, maybe not entirely, but taking some pieces of their lives can give you a great insight into the lives they led and can be just something kind of fun. It can also show you how good we have it in a lot of ways. I'm a lot more grateful for my toilet that flushes and my lights that work, that I don't have to light a candle, for my stove that I just turn on with the electricity and I don't have to go and get wood for. Living a day the way your ancestors would have can be really helpful. 50, we've made it all the way to 50, our last one. This is preserving old photos. Just about every family has photos. Maybe they're in your house, maybe they're in a relative's or ancestors, but preserving those photos, scanning them and saving them and labeling them so the future posterity know who they are. It can bring back great memories for those who are living and remember them, but it can also spark connection and identity and curiosity in the generations beyond. So I'd highly recommend the old photos, whether it just be ones in your house. You can buy scanning equipment, or you can go to the BYU Family History Library or another family search center. We have a variety of scanning equipment here at BYU that you can use for free. I think there's something like 20 different scanners. You can take a quiz online to see which one fits your needs, whether you're looking for something quick, something that does negatives or digitizing VHS or old tapes, things that you can scan the whole page and it'll pick out each individual image or pictures you take out one at a time to go through. There's a variety of equipment, and you can use it all at BYU for free, which is really incredible. Thank you for coming and listening to my 50 ideas in 50 minutes. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email, and you can find me on Instagram at Gen Z Genealogist. But thank you for coming today and hearing about 50 ways to do family history. Thank you.